Second, as a caution to those in and out of the media who will pounce on a single sentence or a single witness and decide what should have happened in this case based on that tiny bit of information. The duty of the grand jury is to separate fact from fiction. After a full and impartial and critical examination of all the evidence in the law, and decide if that evidence supported the filing of any criminal charges against Darren Wilson. They accepted and completed this monumental responsibility in a conscientious and expeditious manner. It is important to note here and say again that they are the only people who have heard and examined every witness and every piece of evidence. They discussed and debated the evidence among themselves before arriving at their collective decision. After their exhaustive review of the evidence, the grand jury deliberated over 2 days, making their final decision. They determined that no probable cause exists to file any charge against Officer Wilson and returned a no true bill on each of the 5 indictments.
Brown's mother starts crying after the decision, while Brown's stepfather steps in to try to comfort her. The crowd then turns into an angry crowd, and it doesn't help with what Brown's stepfather starts screaming, "Burn this blank down." As you can see, the Michael Brown family is in great anger as the decision the jury made in regards to Officer Darren Wilson with not being indicted to the death and shooting of their son. On November 24th, the decision was made by the grand jury in Ferguson to not indict Officer Darren Wilson. Prior to the decision being announced, officers had prepped in riot gear due to the expectation as to how the crowd may act due to past participation. Ferguson was not the only city that was disappointed as to the jury's decision on Officer Darren Wilson. Los Angeles was also disappointed as well. What had started out as a peaceful demonstration turned into chaos when protesters decided to split from the group and go onto the 101 freeway with barricades that they then laid across the freeway and stopped traffic. CHP had shortly arrived to help disperse the crowd and corral them onto the highway overpass above the 101 freeway. However, my question now is, are we giving these protesters too much power by showing them and airing them continuously on television for the next 3 days? Or are we giving them the just that they deserve to speak their mind and be heard by the public? Our Code of Ethics. We must understand what is important information to our viewers and readers. We should not make unruly protests that are seeking our attention or news. There should be a set amount of time as to how much a news organization can publish unruly protests.